Go.
Good afternoon, folks. Here I am again. Another week has gone by, and I'm back with you. Happy to be so. Brought my eagle with me this time rather than a raven. Thought you might enjoy that. And you probably wonder what this medallion is for. This is for crab rustling in the summertime. So that just should handle any of that inquiry. I want to talk to you today about hypnosis. That's something I kind of dumped on you last time that didn't really offer much explanation about what it was or what the kind of thing that might be in your mind about what hypnosis is or hypnotherapy is. Often it's a misinterpretation of what that is. Hypnosis is that's been going on since the Egyptian times. There was a thing with the Egyptians that they would have people come and they'd sleep for a while, and they'd be better after they slept for a while. And the idea of sleeping was that they would move from the beta wavelength to the alpha wavelength, at least the alpha wavelength, and maybe some little bit to the other one, the lower one, but mostly into the alpha. And that would allow their body to completely relax, and they would feel better after they woke up. I ran into a psychiatrist once that used sleep therapy on seriously ill people. I mean seriously ill, not walking worried, but to seriously mentally ill people. He put them to sleep for quite some time. And when they woke up, they felt a lot better. So that all I'm trying to get at is that to shift from a beta wavelength to an alpha wavelength can be salutary for any period of time that you could like to have it there. So that was another incident just to demonstrate that. Hypnosis kind of started with a guy by the name of Mesmer. You've heard of mesmerizing. And he had the idea, this was back in the 1800s, he had the idea that if he had a laying on of hands, that the fluid, the psychic fluid, would flow through his hands into that person and would help them get better. And Mesmer was, in many years, was discredited there. Then there was another guy by the name of Braid who came along, and he kind of coined the idea of, or the term of, hypnosis, and that's kind of how it got used after that. Mesmerism is still used in some parts of the country, in some parts of the world, and certainly hypnosis is. Hypnosis is a process in which you achieve an altered state of mind. And there's a pathway to get to that. You don't just sit down and say, okay, that's it. Although there are some people who can almost do exactly that, and then there are other people who have extreme difficulty in getting to an altered state, to be considered to be under hypnosis. Now, the bad thing about hypnosis, the term, is it got applied to a lot of kind of dark stuff down through the years, and I don't know who was responsible for that, but it kind of got put in that position, like stage hypnotism was probably a lot responsible for that. And what stage hypnotism is that in an audience of people, you ask a few questions and you can pick out the people that you want to come up on stage and the people who would then want to put themselves under hypnosis, and then that you would see what the play was, and often they'd do silly things with hypnosis, which is like get them to bark like a dog or stuff like that. There are some real things that can happen. It can be therapeutic, and that is that you can have an anesthesiologist for surgery, but that's a rare case, and it can be done, but it just isn't applied that much. The other forms of chemical surgery or chemical anesthesia are applied much more for that. You've heard of perhaps of hypnotic childbirth, where a woman can be put, it takes some practice to do this, by the way, on part of both the patient and the hypnotist, so that they're working together, so that then you can have a painless childbirth. And that happens. It works. It works very, very well. Hypnosis is used often in sports. You would go through this line of relaxing yourself and getting into a position and into a very deep visualization point, like for instance basketball. There are studies that have shown that practicing shooting baskets while in a deep visualization place, even though you're sitting still like in a couch or something, that can improve the probability of shots going into the basket almost as much as being on the floor and bouncing a ball and then shooting it and it going into a basket. So, and it is used in other ways to handle relaxation and to handle motivation, a big one. Under hypnosis, and let me say, well, I said under, it's often a fear point that somebody that's a hypnotist can has full control of you. That's just not the case at all. Nobody can have full control of you if you don't want them to have that. So even though you're going under hypnosis, now there are certain situations that it can appear that somebody else has control. But for instance, it's like in this culture that people are skittery about taking their clothes off. You couldn't just say to a person under hypnosis, "Oh, take your clothes off." That wouldn't work. However, if you set a situation that would be one like a shower, for instance. You're going to take a shower, and you walk them up to it and through it And sometimes that'll work. And so it's possible to lead a person into a situation where they're not believing they're going against any of their principles, but are doing okay. So, and that can happen too. That's more than just a couple of words to say about that. More here is it's pretty much what the current education is a very one that could be used a lot more than it is. For instance, they have found that people that would put, say, in airplane seats, and they would relax them and relax them and relax them and stuff, and then rapidly produce information that they wanted them to learn, that they could do that much more rapidly than with the ordinary way of studying. But that hasn't been adopted much in this country that I know about, and certainly not in the schools. Maybe experimentally some, but not in a clinical setting. You would be focused on helping that person with whatever malady that they are presenting, and so you wouldn't be horsing around with it, that sort of thing. I think that's all I'm going to talk about today with regard to hypnosis. If you have some questions about that and would like more clarification, just send me an email at ivan.fraser@gmail.com. And remember to, when you're looking to fund nonprofit organizations, especially with children, that auctions are a good way to go. And well, I can't talk much about that because I don't know much about it, but it's a good way to go. And you ought to really look into that if you're thinking about raising money for children, for children's things like the various sorts of medical things for kids that will never have a normal life and stuff like that. So I'll see you next week, okay? Have a good week.
Good job.